Welcome to World of Wade. It's your boy Alex Wade, and we have a special guest, Jazz. Jazz.
Jazz Ferguson, man. I'm happy to be here, bro. Appreciate it.
Man, this is nice. I think we can start out by just talking about how we met. So a little bit of background. I met Jazz at Roaster Cafe in Dubai. I went to Dubai for like 24 hours, and I was working on some content. And then what?
Yeah, so Roasters Cafe in downtown Dubai is usually where I just usually go to work, do meetings with my clients, email people. It's a very interactive cafe where people are just doing business meetings all the time.
Yeah.
So it's an easy place to kind of start a conversation with someone when they're not seemingly too busy. So I just kind of looked around and saw you were editing something that I thought looked high level, and you kind of had the American look. So
Yeah.
I thought, man, I'm gonna say something to him whenever he looks like he's not too busy. So I ended up being able to just introduce myself, and you know, it was really conversational from there, bro. It was really cool for us to just connect on that level, and now we're here. So I'm even excited to be here in this space.
Yeah, my dog came all the way from Dubai, which is like a 45-minute drive, hour drive.
Yeah, it was actually an hour 20, but
Hour 20.
it was super smooth. You know, it's not a bad ride at all. Like, I've been looking forward to coming down. It's my first time in Abu Dhabi.
Okay, we definitely got to go out and I got to show you around now.
Yeah.
We can find some time to do some other things while you're here.
Yeah, definitely.
But you're right up the road though. Like you can come anytime. So I'll give you like the itinerary, the rundown real quick. What is a little bit of background? You know, what's your background?
I'm from Louisville, Kentucky,
Okay.
and grew up downtown in the heart of the city, man. West End, project kid, just like a lot of us. But I was really able to lock in on school and basketball. You know, coming up, I wasn't really a good basketball player. I was just really focused on getting better.
Yeah.
And you know, once I started seeing some improvement with the focus that I had, I became really obsessed with it. And that kind of propelled me to being a good high school basketball player, eventually being a college basketball player.
Where'd you play college at?
I played college at an NAIA school, Indiana University Southeast.
Okay.
The all-time leading scorer there.
Nice.
Second all-time in
Set records.
in
Trailblazer.
second all-time in assists, and I'm also the first team All-American from any sport at the university. So yeah, it really propelled me to be able to see the globe internationally, man.
Yeah. So you currently still play?
Yeah, so I'm still playing. I'm going into year 15 as a pro. I'm coming off of year 13 and 14 where I led the French league in scoring. So yeah, I'm still
rocking, still
yeah,
balling.
still doing it at a high level. I'm actually just currently, you know, having some interactions with some teams here in the Middle East. The Middle Eastern market is just now starting to pick up. I've been in Europe my whole career, so the Middle Eastern market is a whole different vibe, a whole different energy, and we're gonna see where that takes us.
Where all have you played in Europe?
So in Europe, I played 9 years in Italy, 3 years in France. I played a year in Greece, half a year in Cyprus. Yeah, and then before Italy, I also played 2 years in Australia.
Which one's your favorite?
Oh man, Italy it's nothing like Italy.
What's the vibe? I've never been to Italy.
So the vibe in Italy for sure is they love sports. Basketball is the second, you know, biggest sport in Italy, behind soccer or football.
Okay.
It's a beautiful culture, man. The language is beautiful. The food is the top cuisine in the world, in my opinion. And it's just so many landmarks in Italy that, you know, it's hard to not enjoy being in that part of the world. I also met my wife there, so
Nice.
I'm always gonna be tied to Italy. Like, it's gonna have that special part of my heart.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay. Man. I'm on pause.
Shit, I had to get in the vibe too.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you get into playing overseas? What was your journey like for that?
Man, so I was my senior year of college. I was a first team All-American at the NAIA level. So it's not Division One, but I was still one of the top players in the country. What happened was I had a couple of NBA teams coming to watch my games, but they was just a little skeptical about taking a guy that wasn't playing Division One, even though
Right.
my numbers were speaking for themselves. So I hired an agent, and ironically, man, that the first agent that I had, he didn't really see the potential because he didn't feel like I was tall enough and more athletic for the type of guys he liked to represent. So
Right.
he called my college coach and told him, like, I don't really think I can get this guy a job. And
That's tough.
within 2 days, it was a harsh reality, but within 2 days with my resume, my college coach was like, you're going to be
You
fine.
can play somewhere.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
I think the whole Division One stigma around it, or even like not playing Division One, the stigma behind that. Because I played college football too.
Yeah.
I played at Missouri Southern and Arkansas Tech. I played safety. But we had some dogs.
Yeah.
Like people still have talent even though you're not playing Division One.
No, absolutely. And the thing is, for someone like me, I was a late bloomer.
Okay.
Like physically at age 18, 19, I wasn't ready to play Division One.
Yeah.
But once I started to get stronger, once I became really sure of myself and my game at 20, 21, I had Division One schools offering me.
Gotcha.
But the conversation I had with my college coach was, do you think I can be a pro from here?
Yeah.
And he told me, you could be a pro from anywhere on earth. Like,
I think basketball is a little bit different in that sense.
yeah, with basketball, that was a pivotal time where social media was starting up
Okay.
during that time. And my coach in particular was coming from a high Division One program. He was coming from being an assistant at the University of Louisville. So he still had some contacts that were able to get me seen. And once I was seen, man, that first opportunity was,
It was off from there.
yeah, I took off from there.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay, what advice do you have for young men trying to come up in basketball?
Man, so the first thing I would say is if you want to take basketball serious, then you need to understand the level of focus you need to get better.
Yeah.
You got to focus on the basics. Be intentional about improving your ball handling, your passing, your shooting, and your IQ. Because everybody sees and thinks that the flashy part of basketball is what makes somebody a good player.
Right.
The best players that ever played the game had amazing footwork, had amazing basic skills, dribbling, shooting, passing, IQ. And then you build off of that. And I think, just for myself, I had an extreme level of focus on improvement. Even more so, I focus more on the improvement than the result because I understood the importance of my development and I started to see the development that I had and became obsessed with it. So that's where I didn't have any projections or rankings that made me say, okay, so he's projected to go here, he's supposed to go play at this school, he's supposed to be on the draft board. None of those things were ever existent for me, and I ended up surpassing a lot of the guys that were on those rankings and supposed to play Division One because I was more focused on my development. And
So pretty much like falling in love with the process.
most definitely, that's why I'm still currently a player.
Yeah.
The process means everything to me. Preparation, reps. My company slogan is "Reps remove all doubt," and I really believe that that's what's propelled me on a professional level with my mentality and my consistent performance has all come from just my development stage.
So you said your company. Talk a little bit more about that. What company?
Yeah, so recently, as my family and I relocated to Dubai, man, understood
You
that.
can't just glaze over that, man. You in Dubai. Do you know that like Dubai is like people's dream vacation, dream destination? Like people come to Dubai to just network and experience a luxury.
Yeah, so initially, my wife is the person who persuaded me to move to Dubai.
Okay.
She has had different business dealings in Dubai. She works at a high level real estate company right now
Yeah.
in the heart of Dubai. So for us to kind of game plan for 6 months leaving France, it was a huge decision for us to make, man. And I think just with me having an open mind and us being an open-minded family, this was one of the biggest transitions we've ever made, because we have a young son who's about to turn 1 year old.
Okay.
And to want to first have him in the safest environment possible growing up, and then for her to have a job opportunity, and for me to understand that I can leverage my mindset and my expertise as a professional basketball player in a space like Dubai, where I started a lifestyle development company where I'm doing life coaching, confidence building for adults, also with the mental strengthening and ambitious outreach. And then on the young athlete side, I'm doing elite mentorship. And just in general in the UAE, in this space, this is not something that's particularly popular yet, but
Right.
you know, the mental space aspect, the mental health aspect is something that's starting to become a talking point here. And I think just me assessing the options and understanding that I can utilize who I am and what I do, and kind of use some of the methods that I've used my entire life to kind of spread the word, help people directly, and really try to get into some of these schools and corporations to use my influence to grow my business.
So a lot of, so like, my mom's she's in education. She actually is a professor, and so we talk a lot about like the mental health side and people with disabilities,
Yeah.
and it's something that's not really talked about in the Middle East. So I think it's really cool that you're trying to break into that scene and explore it more with people. People can, and like in America, we talk about mental health all the time, and people talk about like self preservation and things like that.
Yeah.
How did you find out that wasn't really something that was being talked about here?
So just really doing research. I think part of our moving process was me doing my due diligence to understand that I'm going into the land of the unknown. And with me going back to school and getting my certification, I just started doing some research on the mental health aspect in the Middle East, not just Dubai, but in the UAE and the Middle East as a whole. And as amazing as the UAE is, you know, it's still a country that has to grow in terms of the mental health space, and, you know, being more open-minded as far as, you know, the traditional culture.
Right.
And, you know, mental health is something that is going to be acknowledged, but, you know, it's been a fight for certain things to kind of open up, you know,
Right.
the workspace for women, how women are viewed, and what they have been, you know, the growth that they've gone to in that space in the Middle East.
Yeah, I think it's a cultural thing, definitely. And in the Muslim world, slowly but surely, like they're kind of opening up.
Yeah.
Like I would say, like Saudi Arabia is kind of like very reserved, but like they're starting to have USC, they're starting to have other sports come there.
Yeah.
They have like a golf league or stuff like that. So they're starting to try to invite people in.
Yeah.
Dubai's off the charts. Like Dubai, it might as well be like the Western world a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because it's just full of expats and everything. Yeah. But even the UAE as a whole, I don't know if you know, like Dubai wasn't Dubai maybe 40 years ago.
For sure.
Like 40 to 50 years ago, it was literally desert. You know, like of course, like they had buildings and things, but it wasn't as like this outstanding, luxurious place as it was. And then Sheikh Zayed, and I think that's one of the things that attracts people to Dubai, because it's literally made on vision. Like Sheikh Zayed, he was the one who had the vision for expanding and bringing in like the outside world, and then making Dubai and making Abu Dhabi something like the most spectacular world attractions to come to. So it just attracts a lot of wealth. They also don't have taxes here, or like it's a little bit of taxes. I think they have taxes now, but taxes like a little bit to nothing.
Yeah.
So it just brings a lot of wealth here. But it's all based in like a visionary. Like literally, imagine like it's a desert, and then now you have stuff like the Burj Khalifa, the Burj Al Arab. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and I think when you speak about Dubai like that, it's the land of opportunity.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, for me, I understand that I have a particular set of skills to like build people up and help them gain confidence, help them gain clarity. I think implementing myself in this kind of environment is only going to elevate my level of influence.
Right.
And I'm going to really give myself a chance to grow business-wise and connection-wise. Just, you never know who you're going to meet on a day walking into a coffee shop.
Even us meeting, like that's kind of like a crazy situation within itself. Networking is like, if you come to Dubai and you don't network, you're doing yourself such a disservice.
Yes.
Like I know people come here for like the tourism and to have fun and everything,
Yeah.
but you literally never know who you rubbing shoulders with.
Yeah.
And so you definitely got to network, because I was chilling, I was on the computer, like, peeped you, I was like, okay, dude chilling, like, look a little American, okay, I'm just boom, boom. And then you end up talking to me.
Yeah.
And then ended up being another woman who was like from Dallas.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we all end up chopping it up and exchanging Instagrams and numbers and everything. So like networking is definitely a must when you come over there.
Man, absolutely. And so what we had to do was kind of prepare our minds to understand that we're not coming for a vacation.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're making a full-blown transition. So
setting up life here.
Yeah, when you're setting up life here, you have to kind of exclude the part of being a tourist and like seeing all of the cool things. I haven't seen many of the cool things.
You definitely got to.
Yeah, I will for sure, but it was much more important for me to establish myself as a serious business entity first.
Right.
And I think I'm starting to do that very well. I've met some really cool people. I've met some people that I think, collaboratively we're going to be able to really grow and help each other. So I think when you don't have the aspect of like the expectation of really coming in and going to see everything right away,
yeah,
I still have so much to learn about the city and the country.
And you can kind of spread it out because you do live here. Like me living in Doha, I still haven't seen probably half the things or done half the things that is to do in Doha. Because once you live somewhere, you can kind of spread it out.
Yeah.
And also, like you said, you're setting up life. So you're trying to meet the people you need to meet, like for professional purposes and networking and things like that. But like Global Village, you just gotta check out Global Village.
Definitely.
At some point.
Definitely.
The Burj, I've actually never been in the Burj. As long as I've been in the Middle East, I haven't been in it. I've seen it, of course, like I go to the mall or whatever.
Yeah, I walk outside. It's right.
Bro, you can see it from everywhere in the
5
city.
minutes walk from my house. Yeah.
So you live in like downtown, like Business Bay.
Yeah, we right down in the center of Business Bay.
Heart of the city.
I think some of my friends, they're like, man, you right there where everything happens.
Yeah.
And just the coffee shop that we actually met at is the first place that attracted me, because when I went in there, it's not people in there that's just wasting time.
Yeah.
It's people in there on their laptops. There's a boardroom, a glass boardroom, so you see people in there.
There was even a meeting there when we were.
Yeah, they doing big business in there,
Yeah.
and I think I was gonna shoot a podcast or something, and I asked the staff, I'm like, yo, how can I get this boardroom? They're like, listen, you can have it all day as long as you spend at least 1,000 dirhams.
Okay.
Which is not as expensive as it sounds, but
What is 1,000 dirhams?
1,000 dirhams,
$300
it's around like $300.
Yeah.
Yeah, $320. And people are in there sometimes 7-8 hours at a time, because there's times that I'm spending 7-8 hours in there. I got 3 or 4 meetings back to back, and on days where people look like they're working, you leave them alone.
Yeah.
If somebody finished and they're having lunch or they're looking around, and they might be also looking to connect with somebody. You never know who you can have a 5-minute conversation with and do kind of your elevator pitch to. So that is a place that's in the heart of Business Bay. It's right across the street from the mall, and it's a great view of the Burj Khalifa. So
I have never sat for 7 hours and worked on a video before. I ain't gonna lie.
yeah,
But being able to sit and look at the birds is like inspirational. I was like, nah, and then like you say, like other people are in here working.
yeah,
So I'm like, okay, like nah, let me lock in for real.
yeah.
And I was there. I was there for a minute. But it's like you're just soaking up the energy from everybody.
Absolutely. And so my initial thought process to people that don't live in Dubai, that are thinking about moving here, is if you don't have a hustler's mentality, this is not the place for you.
I hear a lot of people say Dubai is like Miami. Have you ever been to Miami?
I've been to Miami, but I've never been there for an extended period of time.
Okay.
I've never been there for like 3 weeks. You know what I mean? So I've always had quick stops and quick stays. But being in downtown Dubai,
It's like a hustle and bustle kind of.
everybody's working. There's people that's making $5 million a year that have side jobs.
Yeah.
There's people that own corporations and are CEOs of companies, and that's their second job. It's never people, you're never gonna meet people that's not ambitious.
Yeah.
And so if you're not ambitious, if you wanna come here for the stay and for the vacation, that's cool. That's a totally different, I ain't even been to that side of Dubai.
Yeah. Okay.
The tourists, like people that's just coming in, like, because where I need to be intentionally is
Around
where
the
we
people who are trying to make stuff happen.
Yeah.
No, for sure. That's actually really great advice. And I would say I kind of feel the same. Because Dubai does have like a crazy party side. Like that's no secret.
I haven't seen it.
If you end up at the Palm Jumeirah,
Yeah.
they got a place called the Five Palm Jumeirah. That's where, like, I've never been to Miami,
Yeah.
but I would say that's where you get your Miami feel. Like it's a bunch of foreigners, a bunch of expats, people in bikinis, people like super swole,
Yeah.
in shape and everything.
Yeah.
Beach, you can see the skyline. Like it's really crazy.
Yeah.
But definitely for the hustle mentality, downtown. It's literally called Business Bay.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Okay. How have you been treated in certain countries? Because you said you've like played all over Europe, right? So how is it being a black man in Europe? 'Cause I haven't really traveled Europe for real.
Okay. So I'll just start with Italy, man. So there is a huge stigma about people saying that Italians have a problem with other races.
Yeah, that was your experience.
That was completely not my experience by any stretch of my imagination. Like, in 9 years, I had one kind of, I had a racial encounter with a really older woman. She was my neighbor for 2 years.
Mhm.
And I just think I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt because she might have just been really having a bad day. Even if she meant it, bro, she was so old that, like,
You couldn't even take it. I wouldn't say not take it serious.
Yeah,
but
I took it serious.
Well, what happened? What happened exactly?
So I was standing in front of my apartment. This woman, we saw each other every single day.
Yeah.
And at this time, I wasn't great with speaking Italian yet. Now I do speak Italian.
Like fluent?
I wouldn't say I'm fluent, but I speak it.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah. Because my wife, she's fluent in a couple languages, and I'm totally not as good as she is.
Bro, speaking of language of where you're at is like a hack, travel hack.
Oh my goodness!
People treat you way differently. Even if you're saying hello or how are you,
Yes.
it takes you like they just approach you way differently.
And they appreciate
Yeah.
you embracing their culture, and that's one of the reasons why I've always been treated great by people. This one encounter that I had, she said something offensive, like something like "Go back to your country, you don't belong here." But in essence, man, I looked back and she came and apologized to me. She apologized for about a week straight.
Okay.
And I'm just like,
That's cool. That's just
okay.
something.
Yeah. It wasn't something that I held on to because I've been treated with so much love and embraced to a level where that's what I felt. Like, so my experience in Italy, I will always look at it like a second home. Australia, the same way. Australia was a place that opened my eyes as far as having an open mind.
Okay. Was that the first place you went to?
Yeah, so I did Canada for a couple months.
Okay.
But then Australia was the first place where I felt like outside of America, my entire perspective on life changed.
Right.
There were people that I met that just had open minds. They weren't completely religious driven. They wasn't politics driven.
Just a clean.
They were living life.
Yeah.
And for a moment, it was hard for me to understand that. But then having conversations with one of my teammates who was African, who was the most disciplined person I ever met because he was Muslim. One of my teammates was from Serbia, who was an immigrant to Australia. The other guy was from Sydney. Like, we called ourselves the United Nations because we lived in this big house and we were all from 4 different countries. And just being able to learn about each other and understand like the habits that Momo had. And he's the guy, he was from the Congo.
Okay.
I was so interested in how he practiced his religion, how he was so disciplined, and just the approach of the Australian guys was so different than his. And then just me almost trying to find myself adjusting to new cultures. I understood that my mind was much more open than what I had been taught. Almost had to unlearn some behaviors just to kind of realize my full potential, and it was really cool.
I think that's one thing. As Americans, we kind of get sold this idea of like the greatest country in the world kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we go a lot of places kind of acting like a little bit boasters.
Brown nosing.
Yeah.
We think we just better than people.
But I think it's really important to lead with curiosity.
Absolutely.
Leading with curiosity will take you a lot further, and it keeps your mind open to like having different perspectives and adopting different ideas. So it sounds like that's what you were on, just being curious about what everybody else had going on. So I get this all the time, and I'm sure you probably do as well. People will say, "Where are you from?" And then you'd be like, "American. I'm American."
Yep.
No. Where are you really from?
Yep.
How does that make you feel? Do you feel the need to like correct them, or like how do you go about that?
So at first it threw me off because you don't know what they mean by that.
Yeah.
But when you meet a black person that's from Africa,
They have some heritage.
they proudly tell you, "Oh, I'm from Africa. Oh, I'm from Kenya."
Yeah.
They identify the country and the country,
Yeah.
like the continent and the country. And for us, I've had multiple people throughout my life since I've been traveling globally. They're like, "Yeah, so where are you from?" I'm like, "America." "Yeah, but what country are you from in Africa?" And I'm like, "I'm from America."
Yeah.
That used to be my response. But then when you talk about the curiosity, when you start having more in-depth conversations with people, you start thinking like, "Well, damn, where am I from?"
Yeah.
Like,
Have you ever done like a 23andMe or anything like that, or like the heritage thing?
I need to, bro. But from my own guess, because there's been several people that have mistaken me
You
as
look a little
East African.
you look a little Sudanese.
See, they say Somali.
Somali, I can say okay.
Somali or like Ethiopian, and my friends, I used to be super skinny when I was little, so they used to say, you look Ethiopian.
Yeah.
So I would think realistically I would probably be something like Somali, but some of the people that you meet that are from Africa, they'd be like, no, if they're from Kenya, they're like, you from Kenya, yeah, you from my country. So I really do need to do it because that's something that I'm curious about, and I just want to see where my roots trace back to.
You know what's crazy? I don't really feel the need to do it. I think it would be cool to know like where like features come from or like certain things like that. But the reason I don't really feel compelled to do it is because I identify as American. Yeah. Like we have our own country, our own culture as Black Americans. Yeah. And then even to say like if I found out, I don't know, I had some heritage from like Ghana or something. Yeah. Culturally, I don't identify. If I was to go to Ghana, nobody in Ghana would be like, welcome, like, because like, I mean, they could, actually crazy enough that I'm saying Ghana did have like a diaspora come home to Ghana thing in like 2019.
I remember that.
So they would do like a come back home thing, yeah. But as far as the cultural aspect though, I could never go to Africa and then just fit in. They'd be like, okay, this guy's one of us. Yeah. So I don't really feel compelled to do it because I do identify as a Black American, and I mean we've kind of like we've been in America as Black people for so many generations that's just where we are.
That's home.
That's where,
That's home. It's definitely home. And there's so many debates about history, about us not coming over, like us just being there.
Yeah. We start talking about like the Native Americans. Yeah. I don't know if you know about Moors, but like the Moors had apparently come to America before like Columbus. Yeah. Because there's actually, just like a fun fact, there's something called the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Yeah. And it's a basically like not a contract, but it's a treaty between America and Morocco. It's one of like the oldest standing treaties there is. Right. And that's because apparently Morocco had already laid claim, or the Moors had already laid claim to America because they were here. Mm-hmm. So that's when you get like Blackfoot Indians and you get like darker skin looking like Hispanic people, like Mexicans. Mm-hmm. Because like the Moors had already come here actually. And even like the USA, like the United States of America, it's a bit of a corporation. It's an entity. It's not exactly a country. Yeah. So that's why we have America, but the United States of America is like a government corporation. So when you get into things like, this is a little bit like rabbit hole, but if you get into like your social security number, essentially that's your employment number for the government. That's a little rabbit hole right there.
Yeah, that's you speaking as a government employee.
Yeah, but that's a little side note.
That's cool information though. When we speaking on heritage and all of that, like that's good information to know, and it's relevant because, bro, when you see people live, and the thing about people that in different countries, they love their countries. Mm-hmm. So why wouldn't you want to always embrace the fact that you're American?
I definitely agree. Obviously, with our politics and everything, and kind of how Americans are seen, I think, abroad, like we talk about being boisterous and being loud and everything like that. I'm proud to be an American, even though things aren't always positive or whatever's coming like in the media for America. Yeah. At the end of the day, that's the country I'm from. That's the passport I have, and the power of the American passport is going down recently. Yeah. But in general, the fact that we're allowed to just pop into another country and not have to get a visa, like that's something to not take lightly.
No, definitely can't take that lightly because I do know people that cannot travel to certain countries.
or it takes months to get a visa.
Yeah.
Months. We can go to Saudi right now. We can go to and we can just get visas on arrival. Like you hit the airport, boom, pay a little fee if they have it.
Yep.
I know, I go to South Africa. I've been going to South Africa every year that I've lived overseas. I actually love South Africa. I love Amapiano music, and I love South Africa. The vibe is just it. But the fact that I can just walk in South Africa and then get a visa on arrival, and it's free.
That's love. That's love.
So I think it's something to be said about having some pride in being an American, but also, like we talked about earlier, like leading with curiosity, like when you're meeting other people. I do think there is a fascination that people have with Americans.
No doubt. So, no matter how people view America as a country, like when you walk in as an American,
People notice.
you got respect on your name. You got respect on your character immediately, especially when you're in a foreign country, when you're somewhere like here. People respect Americans because we are seen as confident. We are, we walk into a room like we're smart enough to be there.
Yeah.
And I think, that impression on people is definitely something that is a point of emphasis when you travel abroad. It's almost like their view of Americans is of what they see of the Americans that are not here.
Yeah.
Because the ones that are here in your face, you're interacting with,
Way different.
it's love.
Way different.
It's all love.
Something else that's crazy talking about the passport too. A lot of Americans don't get their passport until they're older. But like all of my African friends, all of my European friends, like you're born, boom, you get a passport.
Yes.
And they've been going to like other countries and everything.
I'm glad you said that because I did not get a passport until I understood that I was going to go play basketball overseas.
So you were a lot older when you got your passport.
22.
22.
I didn't even know what a passport was until I was 21.
Got you.
Like that never even registered to me because I never traveled out of the country. I grew up without the means of like being able to travel. So that was the thing. My son is 11 months old. He had his passport as soon as he got his social security number.
Same time.
He's had a passport since he was 3 months old.
I got mine at I think 17 or 18. My mom was like, "We're going to Mexico. We gotta get our passports." I was so close. I was like, "What do I need a passport for? Like, I'm not going anywhere. My friends aren't going anywhere. What do I need a passport for?" And I look back on them like, how stupid was I? How closed I was so ignorant just to the opportunities. Because literally, once you have your passport, the world just opens up. Even when it comes to like jobs, even for like basketball, like having your passport just exposes you to it's literally international opportunity.
Absolutely.
You become a international. What is it called? When you're trying to get a job, like applicant.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You become an international applicant. You become almost an ambassador as well, because when you, especially as an American player, when you play internationally, you have a high expectation to perform.
Yeah.
Because the difference is between playing overseas and being, let's say, in the States. Most places, contracts are not guaranteed.
Right.
Your contract is based on your level of performance after 3 or 4 months. In Europe, they do more guaranteed contracts, but in the Middle East is pretty cutthroat with how they do business in sports. A lot of the contracts, I have a friend right now, he's making great money, but his contract is 3 months with a player option and a team option. That after 3 months...
What does that mean, the player option?
The player option means after 3 months, the player can elect to leave, he can elect to go to another team with no strings attached.
Okay.
And the same for the club. The club can cut him, the club can extend him, the club can put him on injury reserve. without any consequences or any penalties.
Mm.
But at that 3 months, if they both agree that, hey, we love you here, we want you to stay here, he can renegotiate his contract after 3 months. If he's overperforming that nice salary that he's making,
Give me a bump.
give me a bump. And that's how it's working more so in the Middle East. That's something that I've also had to kind of adjust my mindset to, because in Europe, you sign a full 12-month contract or you sign a 2-year contract and it's fully guaranteed. Whether you're injured, whether you're sick, whether you play or not, that
Do
contract.
they give you like housing and stuff too, or you just get paid the money you have to find?
Yeah, so globally as an import, you get a salary,
Mm-hmm.
you get housing, you get transportation, which is usually a car, a house or apartment, and yeah, you get paid a decent salary.
That's why I be trying to tell people, come overseas. You would never find a job in America where they're like, yo, we want you. Here's a house. Here's your salary.
Yeah.
Your salary is not being like deducted to pay for your housing,
Nope.
and everything just be taken care of for you.
Yeah.
But when you come overseas, like even with my job, like I have housing, I got a meal plan, like we got a company vehicle.
Yeah. So when I used to tell people that at home that my housing was paid for and I had a car and all of that, I thought that was just only for the athletes.
It's everybody.
This is not
Even
just for
teachers.
athletes.
Even
Yeah.
teachers here, they have like accommodations for them.
Yeah, this is what I realized as I just continue to play in different places and have more conversations. They're supplementing this for everybody that is expat or international. Even if it's not just from America, you could be from Africa, you could be from England, you could be from anywhere. In the contract structure, they're paying for your housing, they're paying for sometimes a car.
Yeah.
And even they put flights in your contract for
My company flew me out. But
and
then
they fly you over.
they give me a stipend. They give me a travel stipend.
Yeah.
That's like it's so many opportunities to go. And also, I don't know if you're aware. So like when it comes to like taxes.
Yeah.
So there is the I forgot what the exact name of it, but if you're out of America more than 330 days, I believe, you don't have to pay taxes.
Yeah. So the thing that I know about the taxes is the threshold of you have to make a certain amount of money to be taxed.
Yeah.
So that's how I've always kind of operated in terms of like the taxes and playing overseas. And I know that here you don't get taxed until you meet a financial threshold.
Mhm.
I think it's like 375,000 dirham. But as an American, you still get taxes in America.
So what are some tips you have for networking? 'Cause like obviously you have the personality. Like you
Yeah.
talked to me in a coffee shop, you end up chatting it up with the chick from Dallas,
Yeah.
and then we all got to know each other. And then for what you've been telling me, you've had a lot of opportunities come just from speaking up. So what are some tips you have?
Yeah, man. So the first thing is I would say you have to be willing to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Like just with me understanding that I'm a personable person. I talk to people. I have just the personality to be able to just walk up to somebody and talk to them. Even when I'm with my wife, I'm the one that introduces myself to a new couple or
Yeah.
some people that we don't know. Conversation starter. So you have to have some level of confidence to be able to do that. But I think you also have to just understand time and place where you are, because there are certain places where people are approachable and it's easier to kind of interact with them, social places and all of that. Other places, it's just not the time for that. But being curious is something that I think has also allowed me to network with people, because sometimes people are willing to talk to you, but
Right.
somebody gotta break the ice.
So what is like a go-to icebreaker for you?
Uh, Man, if you were sitting next to me in a coffee shop and I could hear what you're ordering, I would just,
Say something on
yeah,
there.
hey, you been here before?
Easy stuff.
Yeah, what did you order? What would you suggest on the menu?
Yeah.
You know, or excuse me, where you from? What do you do? Like, because in Dubai, where you're from is an automatic
Conversation
conversation
starter.
starter.
Yeah.
They hear the American accent.
They get
And
curious.
everybody wants to know what you do.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Why are you here?
Have your elevator pitch ready.
Yeah.
Like when you ask somebody what they do, they want to know what you do too. Because it's not just like me asking you what you do and it's like, oh, okay, nice to meet you. They go, no, what do you do? Okay, why are you here?
You do have to kind of be careful with that though. Us as Americans, we ask somebody what you do, and off rip, we think, okay, what job do you have? But what I have found in other countries, people ask you what do you do, and they literally mean like what hobbies or what are you interested in?
So wording is important.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. So instead of always asking somebody what do you do, you could ask somebody. I wouldn't start out asking somebody what do you do for work as a conversation starter.
Yeah.
But like you said, you start out with like, oh, where are you from? You build some rapport, and then you get, okay, what do you do for work?
Yeah.
But if you ask, I like a lot of my European friends, what do you do? Oh man, like I like to golf.
Yeah.
I like to go hiking. I like to, they answer like that.
Yeah, for me, so I heard somebody say this right away when I got here, and it was, what industry are you in? So that's kind of like, what job do you have? What, you know? And for me, I'm a conversation person, so I try to be different with, like, what do you do is a very bland way.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I think the icebreaker, the curiosity, and man, exploring, going out and seeing different things. Like, get a little bit out of your comfort zone on what you would normally do.
Right.
Like if you come to Dubai and you're on vacation, if you just chilling at the beach club every day, that's cool, but you're probably not gonna meet people that are on a totally different vibe than that.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be a lot of other people there that's on vacation.
I'm glad you said that, because one thing I love to do is everywhere I go, I try to make a local friend or somebody that lives in a place. There's a difference between traveling and vacationing.
Yes, absolutely.
And the difference is once you know somebody there and you start going to the local spots, you're like traveling. You're having an authentic experience.
Yeah.
That's personally what I like to do.
Yeah.
Vacation is like, I have a lot of friends that'll be like, oh, we're going to stay on the resort.
Yeah. I'm glad you
Why are you staying on a resort? Because everybody else is probably like American. Like that's where the Americans are going to be.
Yeah.
And I love my American people. I love to get out and let me go be in a space where I'm the only American.
Mm-hmm.
And let me go talk to some other people from different countries and get to understand what they're doing.
That's because you're very well traveled and you are outside of almost a closed-minded bubble.
Yeah.
What me and my wife realize is we are travelers as opposed to vacationers for two reasons. For one, when we can never find people that want to travel at the same time as us or want to do the same kind of accommodation as us. We stayed at a resort one time. We were not at the resort, on the resort, one day. Usually you stay on a resort, you don't need a rental car.
Right.
You don't need anything. You do everything.
It's easier,
Bro.
but you don't get the same value.
We rented a car this first day for the whole week.
Yeah.
We didn't eat at one restaurant on the resort. We were down in the middle. We were in Curacao, in the middle of the local spots every single day, traveling to the other side of the island, and we then realized we wasted money on staying at a resort.
All it takes is one time to go into town, talk to one local,
Yeah,
and a lot of times,
they right.
in my experience, that local will be excited to be like, no, let me show you this spot. Go here, do this. This is where they have the dance nights. This is where the ladies' nights at. Like, it just takes one time of mustering up that courage and then talking to somebody who's actually from that place.
Absolutely.
That's it. It just takes one time. Talking about the car thing, and maybe I was a little bit ambitious. I rented a car in South Africa. Now in South Africa, they drive on the other side of the road, and the steering wheel is on the other side of the road, on the other side of the car.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have never just, like when I drive, I'm normally like, lean back, relaxing. When I say I was driving like this,
Bro.
and then I had to like rewire my brain that like, no, I can't make a right turn right here. I gotta go left. And then I might end up having to go all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've missed so many turns and had to reverse a few times in like traffic. But it was worth it though. I'll do it again. I would do it again.
I had this experience in Australia. So mind you, it's my first time traveling out of America.
Yeah.
I signed this contract. First thing they do is give you a car.
And they drive on the other side of the road?
Other side of the road, other side of the car.
Oh man.
My first day driving, I turned into incoming traffic.
I did the same thing.
Bro.
I did the same thing.
Bro. Luckily, very luckily, it was a red light.
Yeah.
Everybody's laying into the horn, honking on me. But you know what? It's a different kind of honk. They honking because they laughing at me.
Yeah.
You know, they just like, this American, man. This dude turning into incoming traffic. But I think those kind of experiences, bro, they help you grow and thrust you into the culture.
You just gotta dive in.
Yeah.
You just gotta dive in.
Because that's the other thing about living overseas. There's no one to like groom you.
Yeah.
There's no one to like hold your hand. They just like, welcome. Here's your
Do your
keys.
thing.
Here's your card.
Yeah.
Figure it out. And I love that about it because after one experience like that, you're ready for it. You're ready to
Kind of breaks out that shell. Like
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
nervousness.
Yeah.
For sure. We did talk about business ventures. We talked about mental health. Okay. Why is mental health personally a pinpoint for you?
So I would say two different reasons. For one, being able to reflect on my career, I understood the value of having a strong mindset.
Okay.
And a mindset that allows you to build yourself in a way that you have confidence, you are reassured, and everything that you do is not based on a result, which is like winning and losing or performance.
So it's kind of a callback to falling in love with the process, kind of with basketball as well.
Absolutely. I think the coolest compliment I've ever received, the best compliment I've ever received in basketball was I had a coach tell me that my greatest skill was my mentality.
Mm.
And understanding what that meant to me means a lot. It means that whether I scored 30 points or I scored 6 points, my approach never changed. The way that I prepared, the way that I was consistent in how I led with my voice, with my actions, and my habits reflected the habits of other people.
Mm-hmm.
And
People are paying attention.
Yeah, and I think subconsciously I always felt that. You know, people believed in what I said and how I approached because I was consistent with my mindset first, and then my habits followed. And I think secondly, at 19, I was an intern at a mental health institution called Rest Care. I did it for 2 summers, and it was working with mentally disabled adults. And this was with people that had schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, manic depression. They had no control over how they acted sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think understanding the delicate manner in which people need to be handled sometimes, from a mental health aspect, has always made it a point that's been like a soft spot for me, but now a point that I want to kind of emphasize. Like, I want to always be able to be a person to build people up and help them realize the best
You have
versions.
to be really conscious for that.
Yeah, and to realize the best versions of themselves. And for the people who don't see the potential in themselves, I want to help them realize that as well.
Yeah.
So that's why I would say it's such a pivotal like focus for me.
What is one thing that you want people to know that you think they can't tell from just looking at you?
I mean, I'm an ambitious person, man. Like, I really think that I can change a lot of people's lives.
Impact.
I don't know if you could tell that from looking at a person, but I'm a very genuine person. I have a lot of intention behind the way I move, how I speak, just where I go, the people.
So like I said, I put it on my story, and one of the questions that somebody said was, do you feel a need to show the youth or the next generation of basketball players back in America that is more than just the NBA as an option?
Oh, absolutely. This is a direct play off of me having an elite mentorship program. I think the first thing that I want to do with the youth is help them build the mindset of a professional, especially the ones that have ambition, but we're implementing life skills.
Right.
You know, creating sustainable habits, being consistent in your work ethic, having a strong mentality, being open-minded, having the ability to process and be able to emphasize on what you learn, being able to perform what you're learning.
I grew up playing sports probably like all my life, and I think sometimes people discount athletes. We kind of get written off of, oh, just like you're just a ball player,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you just do this, you're just a tennis player, you're just a football player. But people don't realize the amount of dedication and the life skills that you learn, like teamwork, leadership skills,
Yes.
communication. Like when I was playing safety, like safety is almost like the quarterback in the defense.
Absolutely.
I got to talk to the linebackers. I got to talk to the other safety. I got to talk to the corner. That has translated into when I'm at work now, I'm able to understand that, okay, I need to communicate with everybody who's involved.
Absolutely.
Everybody who's a stakeholder in the business side, I got to talk to all the stakeholders and be able to appeal to them specifically what they have to do or what I have to offer them.
Absolutely.
So sports is definitely underrated for developing life skills. And I encourage athletes as well to not just look at your sport as I'm doing it just for the game,
Mm-hmm.
but think about how much time you're in, how much time you're putting in, the dedication and everything else. Think about how it applies to life as well.
Absolutely. And to kind of add to that, because I agree 100%, when you don't make the NBA, like you,
What do you do
with
then?
the unlikeliness of the NBA, understanding that if you get an opportunity to play professionally overseas,
Yeah.
first of all, you get to see the world.
Mhm.
You get to experience something that you may have never even imagined. You do get to make a sustainable living if you build your career in that way. You also get to continue to use those habits that you've been building as an athlete your entire life. The consistency, the use of a schedule, managing your time.
Mhm.
And along with those experiences, man, there's nothing like experience. Like you get an experience overseas, it's something that money can't buy.
I think it's a misconception about playing overseas, about it not being as elite, or you're not making any money.
Well, so first of all, about it not being as elite, the people that are playing overseas right now are not NBA players, but there are a lot of former NBA players
That go
playing overseas. And the guys that you watched on college that were great college players, the ones that you don't see playing on TV in the NBA, they over here.
They're overseas.
So the level is high, and the money is very, very different depending on league, country,
Right.
and all of that. But the top level guys are making multi-million dollars.
Okay.
You know, I would say entry level guys are making, they understand that they are opportunity based. You're getting an opportunity to build your career, and a lot of people have to build their careers. You start off making a couple grand, that couple grand turns into 5 figures,
Right.
that 5 figures turns into 6 if you're doing your thing.
So you just have to have the time to develop more.
Absolutely. But that's like everything else in life.
Right.
The league is the elite of the elitists. So, of course, there's only 450 slots globally.
Okay.
I think people need to continuously understand.
And then now in the league, you have people coming from other countries who are coming to America.
45%, 45% of the NBA are not Americans.
I did not know that. That's a crazy fact, actually.
And the top 5 players in the NBA
Are not
not
American.
Americans.
That's crazy. Another question was, what are some things that overseas ball has that is better than the NBA? What are the pros that you've experienced, and what are the cons?
That's better than the NBA. I mean, that is a very
Subjective.
yeah, it's subjective because the rules in the NBA and overseas are different. If you're speaking in terms of lifestyle, then the NBA, there's nothing compared to the NBA
Right.
lifestyle wise.
But I think maybe like one of the pros you would say is like the travel part, like you were just talking about.
Yeah, so travel wise, overseas, you get to travel to different countries and you get to these different experiences, but everybody's not traveling like how they travel in the league.
Right.
Overseas, you might have a 10-hour bus ride
Especially in like Europe.
down and back. Europe, especially in a country like the UAE, it's a little different because everything's within a couple hours. So those bus rides are 4 hours maximum,
Right.
and 30 minutes on the low end. So I think it's pros and cons to both. The league has the luxury of the luxurious level, but over here it's more experience based as far as getting to travel to different countries, getting to see different cities and landmarks and places you might have read about in the history books. So I think it's really depending on each person. But for me, I love that I've been able to travel all through Europe.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Africa. I'm now in the Middle East. That's amazing for me.
So, and I have to ask. So, a lot of overseas basketball players are seen as like players and kind of like this boisterous lifestyle. What do you think is like a misconception that people should take into mind when they're seeing like athletes out in different countries?
Well, I mean, man,
Cause like, what is the lifestyle? Like, it has to be like you're like literally an athlete. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're making money. You're overseas. You're in shape.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Handsome black man overseas. Like,
Yeah, so I would. So this is what I'll do. I'll advise you. The first couple years overseas, get it all out.
yeah,
Have all the fun that you can, as long as you keep the main thing,
right.
which is your job, your security, your reputation. All of those things matter.
Cause you're there to play ball.
Yeah, if you can go out and party and have fun and still manage performing at a high level on the court, then do that. I've seen guys do that, the partying and all of that on a very, very high level and still be able to maintain.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen guys cure their career in 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think younger me, 27, 28-year-old me, I've always kept this level of focus. I've never allowed the partying and the fun and all of that, never outshined doing my job.
Yeah.
Keeping the main thing the main thing. And yeah, guys come out here, they enjoy themselves, they live life. But on the other side, you meet grown men. You meet guys that have done all of that. Myself, for example, I met my wife overseas. I started my family overseas. I met my wife in Milan. My son was born in France. Now we live in Dubai.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you go through that phase of partying and just getting out of college and you're making some money that maybe you've never seen before. So then like you outgrow that, and
Priorities change.
Your priorities change. You start understanding your why a little more. You start I have no interest in the party scene anymore.
Right.
And I'm in a place that's probably on the level of somewhere like Milan was party-wise, but that's not what I'm into anymore. I'm into growth and business and lifestyle development and helping other people. So that's a great question, though.
And my last question, we talked about it a little bit at the coffee shop. You're kind of at the later part of your career and you're transitioning.
Yeah.
I know personally, when I wasn't able to play college football anymore, I had a bit of like a depressive state.
Mm.
And I think a lot of athletes have an identity crisis after the sport is done. What is some advice you have for athletes who are either coming out of college and their college career is ending and they didn't go pro, or even for that pro athlete who they're transitioning to just being a regular person?
Yeah, that's a great question because a lot of athletes, I would say more than the majority, have identity crisis, have mental health issues once they understand that the sport is over for them.
Yeah.
I need to shout out my best friend, Twanny Beckham, who his career ended as he finished college because he had back and hip surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And from the time of him having an identity crisis, trying to figure out life, I was playing overseas, and he went through all of these steps of finding out exactly who he was during that time. Once he became who he is, he started to ask me at 29, 30, what are you going to do after basketball? At that time, nothing registers to me because I'm in the middle of my career.
Right.
I'm doing great. I feel like I'm the guy. But sitting down and having in-depth conversations with him about what a transition looks like, stories he's heard from athletes being depressed, it really made me start to assess myself.
You gotta prepare for it before it comes.
I went back to my own core values, my own principles, preparation. So the best advice that he gave me was utilize your expertise. When you don't have to find something totally different, but it has to be something that you have passion about and something that is not foreign to you.
I think that's the hardest thing. Because when you play a sport for so many years, the passion you build for that because you put so much time in, to even think about, oh, what other things do I like?
Yeah.
But you spend so much time on whatever sport it is.
Yeah, so for me, I think I'm very, very fortunate to be able to understand that my mindset was the driving force for my success.
Right.
And to creatively start formulating a plan on how to use that. And the one thing that I did, we spoke about this off camera, I started reading.
Reading will change your whole mentality for an approach. there's so much knowledge in books. Like obviously there's knowledge in books because people are talking about it, but kind of going with the self-development books, and that kind of gives you an entryway until you start being more specific about what you want to learn and just kind of identifying things within yourself.
Absolutely.
What are what are some key books that you've read?
So 100% the book that was referred to me by Twani was Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty.
Okay.
And the book was so relevant to me that it helped me take some of the habits that I had and elevate them.
Yeah.
Then it allowed me to be curious enough to want to continue reading other books. And the second book I read was 48 Laws of Power.
48 Laws of Power.
That really allowed me to first understand myself on a deeper level and then understand how operating out. Like for me, it taught me how to operate with people outside of the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you play sports, you are the way you're treated sometimes is based on how well you perform.
Oh, for sure.
Most of the time. Well, in 48 Laws of Power, it's giving you all of these different scenarios on life and dealing with people in business and dealing with people in war and dealing with
Being strategic.
Being so strategic that in a way that I never really thought. You know, I've always thought that I had this intellectual mind, but I only use it in certain spaces. Reading has allowed me to open my mind up in a way that you can only do if you read.
I think 48 Laws of Power, I warn people, because 48 Laws of Power can take you two ways. It can take you down a dark path where you start trying to manipulate people, because it does teach you strategies like you talk about war and like don't outshine the master, like things like that, right? On the other side, it allows you to empathize with people and strategically work around other people's shortcomings to either get a mutual beneficial result.
Yeah.
So it's a book for me that I started my higher level thinking was The Monk Who Sold His Red Ferrari. That was a book I read in college, and it kind of taught me about the law of attachment.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, the book talks about a monk who was a really rich guy, and the book starts out with him about to commit suicide, actually. And then it kind of does like a flashback of how he came to this point of being in this dark room by himself.
Yeah.
And he had a Ferrari, multi-million-dollar business, and he got rid of it all and started just searching more inward for fulfillment. And that kind of put me on the path for understanding that I have to determine how I interact with the world, or my impact. I can impact the world even.
Yeah.
And I can't just live my whole life with the world just afflicting on me. I can't go through life with a victim mentality. Like I used to have a friend in college, Trevor Flores. Trevor had a really hard time our freshman year of college, right? He got red-shirted, which he was like a star football player in high school. So to come to college, you get red-shirted. That was kind of hard. Then he got like a blood clot in his shoulder. Something else happened to him. And he used to be so angry and be like, why me? Why me? But because I read that book, I was like, why not you? You don't even know where life is going to take you after going through this, or how you can grow from it. And just taking that approach of like, if you're always asking why me, you'll never take the next step of, okay, what do I do now to change? And that's really important, like mentality to have, I think, in life is don't just let life happen to you. You can happen to life. You can make things happen for yourself. So, yeah.
I think two other books that I gotta shout out. One of them is very popular right now. I hear a lot of people talk about it. Is Chop Wood, Carry Water.
Chop Wood, Carry Water.
It's a very mentally stimulating book that allows you to develop this level of like consistency and resilience and patience that I think you need in certain times of your life. And the last book, the book that I just read the most recently, is called How to Walk into a Room. And it's just talking about making significant transitions in life and just things that you may feel, ways that you can approach these things, being rooted in faith, and really preparing yourself in a way of like understanding that anything can happen, but sometimes when something ends for you, it's an opportunity for something else great to happen.
In Islam, there's a term called maktub. Maktub means it's written. So the good that happens, the bad that happens, it's already written. So you kind of, for me personally, it gives me some calm, some peace to just go through things because it's already written. So even if I'm having this hard time, it's something better to come.
That's really dope.
Yeah.
Really dope.
So I think we hit a lot of good topics, man. I'm excited to get this out to the people. So I just want to say I appreciate you,
man. I appreciate you,
and
man, having me on, bro. This was really dope, and look forward to just.
Yeah, we got to collab. We're gonna put some more stuff together.
Yeah,
so
that's definitely
be really cool. So I just want to thank y'all for tuning in. It's Alex Wade with the World of Wade. Had Jazz today, and y'all take it easy, man.